Okay, the purpose of this screenshot is to look at feedback and how to make your writing better. It's very similar to when we did Slices of Summer. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do feedback by paragraph. So save Get Essay Feedback until the end. So we're going to start with Introduction, and we're going to hit Get Feedback. It is okay if you have at least one in the yellow on either topic focus or topic development, because those are very hard to get green in. You want to make sure that you have trophies or in the green for each one. If anything says needs work, you click on it. It's going to catch the word relatable. If you have that in your writing, that's okay, but it will say that it's a spelling error. Okay, we're going to go ahead and double check our intro one more time. You want to make sure that your title is in quotation marks. Even though we don't typically put quotation marks around the title, it will not recognize it as a title if we don't. So we'll change that when we get to Google Docs. You want to make sure that you have a couple of sentences just as an intro, maybe explaining why you're writing to the author. And then you want to end with your thesis statement. And that thesis statement has to have the three things from your mind map. So then we're going to move on to each body paragraph, and I'm not going to do each one. I'll just probably do one with you. Okay, so I'm going to look at length on this one. With length, if they are all in that pinkish color, that means they're all long. So they want you to have a variety of different lengths. So one way that you can fix this is to go through, and if you have a longer sentence, make it into two. If you have a few short sentences and it wants longer sentences, combine those sentences with either a comma and a conjunction or a semicolon. So we're going to go back to that feedback and look at our spelling and grammar on that. Okay, grammar needs a little work, so we're going to click on that. And remember that whatever is in red, you can put your cursor on top and it will tell you what you need to fix. So it says grandma's does not need to be possessive. I had it possessive because I really mean grandma's house, but I didn't actually put house. So I'm going to add house so they know what I'm trying to say. And then I think the other error is, or other problem, is that there's not a white space after my period. And remember, if you don't have space after your periods, it will not read them as sentences. So I'm going to add that, and that should fix my grammar. Yep. Okay. So let's just check these other paragraphs to see if there's anything that we can look at. Ooh, that's a good paragraph. Spelling and grammar. It's, yeah, we're missing a space there, so we can go in and fix that. And then this one, it's just a really long sentence. So I probably need to figure out how to make that into two ideas. If it flags any names for your spelling, if you know, I would double check in your book to make sure you spelled it correctly. But other than that, you should be okay. You just still have to ignore it. So let's check the third body paragraph. Okay, beginnings. So we're going to look at beginnings. It flagged all of my beginnings. That does not mean they're all wrong. It just means it's flagging all of them. So what I need to do is I need to make sure I've got I here. I'm looking for the repeated ones. I, and I. So I've got it 4 times, and I'm going to need to change my beginnings. One of the things I can do is kind of flip-flop some of my sentences. Like here after grandma, instead of saying I could relate because I enjoy spending time with my family too, maybe I could say this related to me because I enjoy spending time with my family too. So I can maybe change that a little bit. And I should only have to change 1 or 2 of those. All right, let's look at the conclusion. So I am definitely going to want to check my length and beginnings on my conclusion. Structures, I know it didn't highlight anything, but basically structures means that it just doesn't sound right, and you're going to have to reword your sentence to make sure that it sounds right, okay? All of these that have the check marks mean that it did not check it. You're going to have to check it. And this time, even though we didn't do that for Slices of Summer, we are going to do that this time. So for each one of these, you'll click on the check mark and you'll go and read what it's telling you to do. Okay. Let's look at vague adjectives. Just means it's going to highlight any adjectives that are not specific. So I may want to change those adjectives. And then repeated words, it's going to highlight anything in there, and I don't have any on my conclusion, but it's going to highlight anything I've repeated, and I'm going to want to check that. Pronouns and antecedents means, all it means is that it highlighted all your pronouns, and you need to make sure if you said he or they or she that you mentioned who it was referring to first. And then once again, I'll have to check my spelling and my grammar. Okay, so when I'm finished with that, I'm going to go back and double check my conclusion to make sure that I have my thesis statement and then a few closing sentences. I also want to check my 3 body paragraphs to make sure they are set up with that organizer. I need to have 5 sentences at least, topic sentence, details, some thoughts explaining the details, and then the concluding sentence. And when I finish that, I'm going to go through and get essay feedback, but that is the last thing that I do, so that I can see what else I need to fix to get a higher score. And it did not score it, which there it is. It gave me a 5, so that's a pretty good score. And we want to shoot for a 4, 5, or 6 this time, okay? So then I can go back and I can look at my spelling and grammar. The only problem with that is it shows you for the whole letter, which is going to be hard. So if you have any spelling or grammar errors, I would go back and do them by paragraph, okay? And then definitely check these 3 things as well. And then you should be ready to move it over to a Google Doc when you finish that.